Okay, here we go. Hi, everybody, and hi, Peter. Great to see you.
Nadja, hello, everybody.
Hello. This feels always like a family reunion when I look at all the people here. That's really beautiful. Let me talk about just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started, because I had some questions around the Zoom link, including Peter. So Peter, one note for you is, if you haven't accepted the speaker's request, you won't be on the mailing list for everything. So that's just for you. And for everybody else, I'm sorry that it is a bit of a complicated process, but LinkedIn apparently is very much interested in pushing their own products, which is LinkedIn Live. So it doesn't allow me anymore to enter a Zoom link. Whenever I try to enter a Zoom link, it just says that I am entering a wrong link. Therefore, what I'm doing now, if you registered, I will send out an email the day before to everybody who's registered and the morning off. So register early, check your spam, because I am sending out these links. And if all else fails, on the day of the event, I'm also adding the link to the description of the actual event. So if you go to details, it will have the link in there. That's the best I can do, unfortunately, because LinkedIn is being a bit weird about the whole thing. So, Peter, just a quick check-in from your end. How are you here tonight?
Oh, thank you, Nadja. I'm feeling very well, very inspired. I've had some very interesting meetings. I won't go into the details of them, but I'm coming out of some very interesting meetings.
Wonderful. That's interesting to hear. I'm actually thinking, hang on, I'm adding a few more people to the mix here, that what might be a nice way to start is to get us talking in breakout groups just for a moment, because so that your voice was in a room once you had the moment to arrive with somebody else. And Peter, I make you co-host so that I don't sort you into a session. And that way you can also talk about what is alive in you right now when you're thinking about money, source, the state of the world right now. I think it can also be interesting to look at what the current state of affairs is bringing up for all of us, because it's intense times that we are in right at this moment in time. So how about we just do 6 minutes? If you are in a group of two, hang on, there's more people dropping in as we're talking. If you are in a group of two, just, you can flow with the group of two, obviously, and really take your time in the 6 minutes to arrive, say a couple words about yourself, but then really talk about what is alive in you, because there's a reason you showed up today. Right. So get into that, because the more you come with actual questions, something that is close to your heart, the more interesting this conversation with Peter is going to be. So if you're okay, I will send you off just for 6 minutes. It's not long, just to get started and to get grounded with one other person. So see you in a moment. And let me just see, Peter, if I have thrown you into the mix. No, actually I have. Let me take you out, and then we're good. All right, so see you in 6 minutes.
Thank you. We have a wonderful group this evening. I mean, we could spend a few days together, I think, with this particular constellation that we have here in the room. It's just fantastic.
No, it really does feel like a family reunion. And I was just saying that in these times, in particular, to have networks and communities that we can turn to and where we can show up and feel received and seen is just, it's really such a gift. So I hope you all had a moment to tap into what's happening for you right now and why you came and what might be on your mind. So we're opening the floor to take questions, basically, and you can ideally take your pointer, your mouse, all the way to the bottom, and then there's a reaction button, and you can raise your virtual hand. That's the easiest, because that will also give me an order of events. And while you're connecting to your questions or to your courage, who knows what, Peter, I would actually ask you to just give us a bit of a download. Like, what is alive in you right now? Where are you at? What are the questions that you are going pregnant with at your age? I don't know.
Thank you for mentioning my age. Yes, exactly. It's so difficult, to give a clear answer. I think one of the things that has been occurring to me, or I've been hearing from others recently, is that each of us and certainly I think this applies to this group, we're all members of different networks and different communities. And we're each looking to boost and scale up our communities. And I'm not sure if scaling up is a good term, actually, if it's really a modern term or a post-modern term, because it's something that certainly, marketing experts in a conventional sense will advise. But I think more than scaling up, what really needs to happen is an interweaving of our different communities, because I think each of us is a member probably now of several different communities, and the number of communities seems to be growing. And many of them seem to me to be overlapping in terms of their purpose or what they want to be achieving. So I don't really have, I don't think I have a recipe for this, although somebody has told me that actually my ecosystem is very much doing this already. But this is what, if you ask me what's running through my mind at the moment, I think this is one of the things that's running through my mind. The interweaving, I think Francesca Pick with Greater Than is probably ahead of the field with thoughts on this, but I think the thoughts can be widely diffused and spread. How our communities don't turn into silos themselves, but actually that we as individuals feel free to cross borders from one community to another, and we're members of many of each other's. I think that's really what I'd like to share at this point, if it's got any traction.
Thank you, Peter. No, I think it does, and it is relevant, I think, to both money and source considerations, right? Because there's this question of how do I, if I am the source of something, how do I increase my leverage, my reach in the world? And that's where the scaling up comes. Partly, that's one of the sources of the wanting to scale up. And then the other question is also, how do I monetize a potential network that I've built, a potential movement that I created? And then at the same time, that question of noticing that just focusing on scaling my network, my reach, is probably not where we need to be heading, and possibly also not where we are heading. And the interweaving, I thought, was a really beautiful metaphor that you brought for what is required right now. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. You, as usual, Nadja, you express far more clearly what I want to say. I think it's beautiful. Thank you.
Well, that's one of the things that I learned from Peter for everybody is that the source, and in this case, Peter is the source of this field that we're in right now, always need subsources who then translate things in a much clearer way. Right? And I noticed that Tom Nixon is with us today as well, who wrote a wonderful book about working with source. And actually, Tom, why don't you come on for a moment and tell us what's sort of alive in you at this moment in time? And I'm doing this until we have people who have questions, right? So I'm just going to pick on people. This is what I do very well, right? Again, if you don't want to be picked on at all, you have to turn off your camera.
I think alive for me is juggling being on this call and parenting with my daughter Bella here. But yeah, particularly alive for me, I think in terms of she keeps wanting me to plug my book. There you go, Work with Source. Doesn't work with the blurriness. It says Work with Source on it. But yeah, in terms of the work, I've been working a lot with my friend and colleague Fanny Norlin in Sweden, looking at masculine and feminine energy in terms of how ideas and group processes get realized in the world. So that's taking up a lot of my headspace, which is proving really generative and energizing. And then also, yeah, just sort of in the big picture, I've been doing lots of research, reading, podcast listening about the really macro picture in the world of how the macroeconomic system works in terms of debt and energy use and how the whole thing fits together. And it's, yeah, often quite overwhelming, but I think we have a better understanding than ever before of how the bigger picture systems work and how that's led to some of the predicaments we find ourselves in today. But I'm trying to continually work out how I can be most useful and productive as an agent of change, I guess. I was just working with my colleague Romek just immediately before this call, talking about how we can be ever more useful in the turbulent times that we live in.
So, Tom, actually, thank you for this. And I'm curious, sort of, what is emerging for you in terms of where do you feel we're heading or to be heading? Like, what's the direction of movement that, as far as you can sense?
Well, I do think that all of it comes back to, I guess what Peter would say is people's level of consciousness. I think that's the starting point, is like individually and then collectively, how we can perceive ourselves and the world around us differently. Because I think the solutions can emerge. We know a system that requires ever more consumption on a finite planet of resources it breaks the laws of physics for that to work indefinitely, and that's not hard to comprehend. But the process of change to move away from such an embedded global system is incredibly hard, and I think it has to start with individuals, and then hopefully us all collectively changing how we relate to that and how we perceive these big macro systemic issues. And so I think that's the beginning of it. But it does feel really overwhelming when you look at the superpowers in the world today. Like the EU is probably the most sane of all of them, but it's very embedded in a neoliberal framing of growth and consumption and energy use, which is really difficult. So I don't know, I've got more questions than answers. Probably not helping very much.
Well, that's great, because I'm just thinking what's emerging for me now is maybe I'm going to call on a few more people that I know who are moving movements or creating a followership, and then I'm beginning to talk to people who I may not know that well, or who haven't raised their hand yet, and just see what is emerging for you and what can you build on from what the previous person said. Right. And Tom, what you just shared about the overwhelm is definitely something that I feel a lot right now. And today I just came back from a full day training. I'm getting trained as a somatic therapist right now. And one of the facilitators there said, when you feel overwhelmed, our inclination is to want to shut that down, right? To make it stop, because it is such an unpleasant feeling. And she encouraged us to lean into it, right? And to actually feel more instead of feel less. And I thought that was a really wonderful way of guiding us into a space where that feeling can be there, and then to see how it evolves from that place. Tom, you had another thought?
No, that's great. I think I would just concur with everything you said.
Okay, so let me see. Wendy, I'd love to pick on you. You're also moving and shaking in the world. So what's coming up for you, and what can you build on what you already heard?
You're the sweetest, and I'm so happy to see your shining faces. And what's alive is I have PR interview shortly, but I have to leave early, but I'm so happy to, I don't want to ever miss time with Nadja and Peter, actually. And what I just heard, expanding on what you said and what Tom said, I think it is a function of our attention to our personal consciousness, and how might we expand that, and how might we lean into that. And I think a couple of things. One is about personal responsibility, which sounds a little nutty with the enormity of the overwhelm and everything that's going on in the world. And I thought here in the United States, I'd wake up to even more kind of monstrous news, and it's a little less nutty than we had thought. So I have a little bit of peace, but there's a place in which, how might I be responsible for expanding my consciousness in the face of all this tumult, is personal responsibility and surrender. In a weird way, those two things go together. And what you just said about your somatic training, Nadja, my coach requests the same thing, and he uses the term neutral attention. And so I'm finding when I can not run away from the ugly bits or the overwhelming bits, but really be with, in my bones, in my body, whatever I'm noticing, whatever I'm feeling, bring neutral attention to it. There's a quieting, there's a settling, and then I'm more aware of my reactivity and my patterns. So that's how I can bring personal consciousness and responsibility to meet all the tumult that I'm seeing everywhere, and all the political stuff and all the world stuff, and attention to climate change. So I watch my own patterns lately. This is a very circuitous answer. Sorry, but pull these threads in from a few places, but how I'm personally attending to it is trying to bring this neutral attention to everything I see, everything I feel, not move away from my preferences, liking what I like and not what I don't like, and trying to support my tribe of people to do the same thing. We're not bypassing or pushing away, but how can I bring that kind of neutral attention to whatever I'm seeing, be with it? It feels like the pattern, the reactivity in the patterns drops, and the consciousness rises a little bit for me. And then, of course, always bringing Peter's reclamations to everything. Even yesterday, I had a new client, and it was watching like something be born with the revelations about reclaiming those bits that we don't. So, long-winded answer. Did any of that land over there for you? Did that make a little piece of sense someplace?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I would love to, here, I'm going to focus Peter for everybody. Peter, can you give a response to what you've heard so far?
I'm all ears to hear everybody else, actually. I think this is going to be more like a sharing, because when I look in the room, I think there's so much wisdom in this room. It's not so much about what I have to answer. I mean, I gladly answer any questions that come. But I'd love to continue the sharing, Nadja, because I think it's great, particularly as I started also saying it's really difficult to be clear to give a sort of one-line description of what's happening in the world right now. It's so on so many different levels in so many different ways that it's difficult to really, be linear.
Yeah, absolutely. So Peter, pick somebody from the list, somebody who you know or don't know, whatever, and invite them to maybe reflect what is emerging from them, having had the few people who shared already.
Okay. Well, my good friend Joseph. I think Joseph also always has something good to say.
Hang on, let me find Joseph in my little list here. I'm trying to, sorry, there are too many things to juggle here all at once. Joseph, where are you? Hang on here. Wait. Okay, Joseph, now you have to unmute yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm happy to be in this room. In my life, since a few weeks, few of you knows about this integral perception. So in this, maybe 5 weeks ago, we had a yearly group meeting for younger customers. And there I talked about 9 aspects of integral decisions. And then during this workshop, I made 1.5 hours. I see I forgot one, and this is this one. I don't know if you can see. It's about if you make a decision, at least ask a friend. And this is something I talk now about the fractal from the integral. So integral perception with a fractal, eine Selbstähnlichkeit, and this is a new thing, and I'm in this.
Mm-hmm. You may have to explain a little bit more what you mean by that, Josef, because I'm not sure if that's a terminology that is sort of familiar to everybody here. So well, very practically, what do you invite people to do?
With the help of Karen Smith, very, very old friend of Peter, something 30, 40 years. Yeah, we know each other since 28 years. So I wrote this book. It's about paid work and the meaning of life. And now I'm on the third book, and I'm still learning. And this is not possible for me. Even in German, it wouldn't be possible to explain it very quick. So sorry.
Okay, so a lot is moving in you, but give us one concrete thing, Josef, because you were talking about the fractal and about asking a friend. Can you say a bit more about that as a process that people might be able to use for themselves?
Well, if you make a decision, you can go to the past. You go to the past, your own feelings, and then go to the past of the objective of, and then go to the past of the collective of society, of the objective, and then go to the past of the culture, civilization and culture. You can go to the past. And then you can go to the future of that 4 elements. And the 4 elements of the past, 4 elements of the future makes 8. Then go inside, Innensicht, go to with meditation. So go to the now, go to the present, and maybe at least ask a friend, and the friend maybe knows more than you about that topic. Ask somebody, and therefore, if you think he knows more, that friend or she, and you can remember what is the education of her. You have, and once again, these 8 topics, and maybe your friend said, well, I have to sleep one night before I tell you what I'm, and therefore it's diese Selbstähnlichkeit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me try to put that in what I understood, right?
Yes, please.
To make it tangible here. So in a way, what you're inviting is a very specific kind of multi-perspectivity by breaking the past down into 4 different lenses or perspectives that one could take to understand something that comes from the past or that happened in the past, and that would influence your decision in this current moment in time. And you can also nearly like in a constellation, put yourself into these 4 different corners for what might be coming from these directions from the future, and hence increase the spectral. It's like you're breaking down the light into all its components to see all of these different rays of light. Would that be a way to describe it?
Yes, and it helps you to sometimes people are very rational, and sometimes people are very emotional. And the reason for emotions are often Kränkungen. I don't know the word in English. Kränkung?
Illnesses.
No, not in some of krank, but in terms of having been hurt.
Kränkung.
Yeah, having been hurt, having been demeaned.
Grievance.
Yeah.
Kränkung.
Or insults, past insults, probably.
Yeah, insults, grievances. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So without that, I think it's a main topic for emotion. It's this grievance.
Mm-hmm.
Grievance.
Yeah.
Grievance.
Okay, Joseph, thank you so much. I think there is probably a lot more that would need to be understood about this topic. It sounded fairly complex, but what I liked is this idea of being informed in a decision-making process through different perspectives, different lenses through which we can look at a decision that needs to be made and what it is informed by, and to see that it's actually not happening in a vacuum, but being influenced by all of these different sides.
And then asking a friend before going into action.
Yeah, and even the friend maybe pausing before going into a recommendation. So I saw that Nancy, can I put you on because you have something that you are thinking about, and maybe you can talk us through it.
Yeah, happy to. Hi, everyone. I just went through an experience recently where I was co-hosting a retreat with my partner, and Peter, I'd sent you the write-up and you had some critique about that, which was helpful. But we've since kind of postponed it. We weren't able to get enough people. And also we were starting to realize some of these source things were not worked out well. And so I don't know if, like, growing up in Kenya, I kind of got more of like a tribal mentality, or if it's my generation or what, but I find I have less like, this is mine. And even as, you know, I've been interacting, my partner just bought a house and it's very much her house. And I don't own things in the same way. And so even in initiatives, it feels like we kept saying like, yes, it's you are the source of this retreat. But I want to do collaborative leadership and share. And so I don't know how you can help me like really own the sourceness of the things that I'm called to.
Okay. I'm happy to answer that.
Great.
So I sometimes share, and I think I may have shared it already in this setting, but I see the ownership from a different lens than having title deeds or saying this particular thing is mine in terms of material, let's say. I like to look at ownership as being related to the soul. So it's almost like, you know, if you're the source of something and it's yours in that sense, it's like I've invented a verb. You're like in an ensouling process. So your soul is interwoven with whatever it happens to be. And it could be a house, it could be a piece of jewelry, or it could be a project, of course. And in that sense, you are the kind of possessor, but also you are possessed in a certain way, in the best way possible to apply this word, owner or possessor. So I don't know if that deepens somehow, Nancy, your thoughts around the whole subject, in the sense of it not being something that you hold on to with your small ego, but has a much larger sense of connection of what you are called to do, very strongly related to responsibility and stewardship.
And calling.
And calling. So if you own this project, it's yours, you know, it's and you can say it's mine, and with the knowledge that nobody else has that relationship to it like you. And that's one of the big problems we see with the question of source, that there's this tendency to want to share and say it's ours. But actually, very often that comes from not wanting to take full responsibility under the guise of, you know, we want to share, you know, we're doing stuff, it's ours and it's we. But if you look closely under the loop, quite often it's actually an unwillingness to take full responsibility for the creation to which you're called.
And I think for me, sometimes it's an unclarity of why I'm doing something or what I'm doing it for. And like, if I can connect it into, this is directly related to my calling in this way, nobody else has a relationship to it like me, it's from my soul, that would probably help.
Yeah.
So Nancy, what does that bring up for you in terms of a next exploration or a next step?
Well, as you know, I'm in Thriving Networks right now, and I'm trying to figure out like what my network is. And it's the same thing, like I'm unclear of why and what. And so my work this week is to figure out like what is the soul calling that is wanting me to create a network of sorts with my people. And I think from that, I'll have that energy to move forward with it well and have more focus.
Assuming that you have really this calling, because the whole question of this interweaving is that you may not need to have your own network, and maybe your work is to join several other networks and interweave. You know, there may be a completely different role. And of course, this comes
That's what
to
this month is all about. I'm excited to come and meet many other networks.
and then, you know, the question, actually, if we're looking into money, Nadja, you very correctly mentioned this idea of monetizing. And how does one monetize, you know, if you don't have your own soul network and can monetize from your own soul network, then will come the question, well, you know, how will I have some money that I may need? And I think this is where we're breaking through with our ideas, which are other forms of money moving around, which are starting to also proliferate. People are starting to have this idea. So, you know, in my Peter Koenig system, when we have had our project last year, for example, for the Congress, the way we did this, or the way I suggested and we did it, was that we just looked at everybody's needs. And we looked at everybody's needs, not just in terms of what they need to receive, but also what they need to give. To be on both sides of the, because you may have things actually that you really have a need to give as well as to receive. Then the art was to allow all those needs to be in the room or to be in the space, and to negotiate amongst all of us so that we'd all end up happy. And I think we were successful. I may be kidding myself, but I think we were successful. But that's a totally different model than if you're coming from a conventional organization, conventional system, which is trying to measure things, measure worth, measure value in terms of hours or whatever. And I'd like to acknowledge, as he's in the room, Joseph with his company, because for you and your systems are doing very different things with money, not totally, but in this direction as well. And they've been experimenting in this direction for several years. So That would be my response, because I know this question of monetizing is somehow behind these other questions around weaving together, weaving networks, my network, your network, etc. It's in the same space, and we need to be looking at that too.
Yeah. So Nancy, one thing that came up for me as you were sharing and Peter was responding was firstly the same question, like, does it need to be another network you're building, or is your talent merely like a stitching quality? If that was the case, then that brings us to the monetization question, right? And then I thought, what happens if you begin to very clearly articulate what you need? Yeah. And maybe start from that point instead of, what's the big vision? What is my purpose? And trying to chase that and just see what comes up when you go with that question for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And bring it to our meeting.
It feels very vulnerable. I'm an Enneagram 2, and so we don't have any needs. So that's a good practice for me to lean into.
Exactly the next step, right? Is being really needy, needing a lot. And actually, that brings me also back to your interweaving, because I think if we reinvent how we connect with each other, and if we really took this serious, that all of these networks, not just for not in terms of affiliative marketing, right? Where everybody's trying to make more money because of pushing out all of these recommendations, but maybe really a reinvention of how resources flow. Then one of the core qualities is that we all need to tap into our own neediness and the vulnerability connected to that, and stand up in front of a group and say, this is what I need, and where could I get this from? And then the interweaving of networks could really be a huge potential, because suddenly I don't have just 10 people I can tap into, but maybe I have 100 people I can tap into.
Yeah, totally. Wonderfully expressed.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you so much. Okay, we have Isabel. I will pin you. Oh, that's not Isabel, but it's...
Hello, Nadja.
Hi.
Hello, Peter.
Oh. I like this, Isabel. Yes. Peter.
Yes, I had preferred that she would stay, but she need to do a lot of things for herself, and so she's gone already.
Okay.
But you know her also, and I'm at her place for a few days, and so. But I want to share, I think it's also regarding what Nancy just brought up. I'm not so sure. I will start to talk about it. Well, you know that I've been much involved in Peter, in your movement for almost 2 years now, and it's getting on and getting on. And I still have so much difficulty to do what Nadja just said, to ask what I need, but at little things, just because the big things I know it's really easy for me. I have just to do the same thing as Peter. He's doing that so well. I've idealizing that so much that it's blocking me, and so I cannot do my own thing because I have such a beautiful man doing that work that I love, and it's going so well. So why should I do it for myself? Because he's doing that so much. I'm loving what he's doing, and so I don't need to do it. And well, that's it. That's in the way, I think. But now it's starting and it's getting free, and I'm starting at it. But it's still giving very, very strange movement. For instance, Peter has said that he finished in Belgium when he gave money works for 20 years with Christian. And I'm one and the only man with 6 women going to share and to see if we can take up the follow-up of Peter in that place, where he has been very much followed for 20 years. And so Christian organized a doodle no one could find a place together to come. So a second one, no one. And I was always free every date. And third one, she picks one with a broad range of dates. I give almost all dates are good for me. And one I didn't check. I had put something in place in the hub for the Belgian people for my own game to come out. For the first time, it's going to have a live session on the 6th of December. And it's starting like Damien organized. I take the same schedule at the same place. And I've done it for the first time on my own. It's my source with my magic lotto game. And now what's coming out from the doodle and Christian shared with the others, they take just the same date and hour that I need to be at the place to organize my own game, to organize the Zoom with all the people wanting to take over the activities of Peter. So it was amazing when I saw this this coming on the screen, and these are very strange movement for me, but it's going that way, and I know it will take its right place. It's really because I'm so involved in this movement, and I think I don't know if it's emotional like Ernst, not Ernst, like Joseph mentioned. I'm not sure about that. Well,
Peter, can I interrupt you for a moment?
Yes, do. Please do.
Really connected to your body for a moment. Yeah. What is a question around all of this that is coming up for you?
Well, the question is to be concrete with what we love to do, and they're asking money. That's just the message of Peter's work. It's for me so demanding, and so, yes, it's so beautiful also, but it's really difficult to come into the real movement of life, of the practical life.
Peter, are you getting the question? Peter Koenig?
I think you're closer to it than I am, Nadja.
Well, Peter, I'm gonna challenge you again, like, because I think part of it is your clarity. Yeah. So I would challenge you to really formulate a question. For example, one that starts with how.
Yes. Well, maybe I don't have any, so.
So then if there is no question, what do you feel is blocking you from asking for money for something that you feel you love to offer?
Yes, that I cannot, I don't know exactly. I don't know, because I'm used to function with less and less money, and I have almost no more money for the moment. So I don't know exactly what's happening in that way, but I've done it now, and for the first time, and I think Damien was supporting me, so it's coming out, and I think it will go on, and it will slowly come back. The possibility of earning money will slowly come back.
Because I notice I'm getting really confused. Yeah, there's a lot of words.
Yes.
What's lacking is sort of your groundedness and what you're doing, and where there might be a potential obstacle, because maybe there isn't, and this was just sharing, and maybe there is.
No, I think what you said is just what you said. That's the obstacle is the grounding. I'm not grounded enough to take all these things, and it's coming slowly, but yes, I think that the grounding, like you mentioned, is very important, and that's what I'm not very comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. So Peter Koenig, there's something more to work with.
Well, of course, I know Peter Luc very well. And he knows how to do this himself, actually. So what do you need to say? What's your reclamation?
I want to reclaim Peter Koenig, my image of Peter Koenig, back and back and back. I think it's the only thing what I've done with you for 2 years almost. It's what I'm still doing.
Okay, so maybe we need to swap places. Are you willing to give me Isabel?
Oh, yes, you're going far. I know you can do it. Great question, Peter. I love it. Oh, yeah, yes. You're doing so good work. It's beautiful. I'm more that she's not here. I wanted so that she would be that she would stay here with me, but and that she would have heard this. Yes, Peter.
I'm going to stop you again, right? Because
yes,
what I'm observing over and over again is that you spiral off into these branches, and then I'm losing you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested in what is the judgment you have about Peter Koenig? Like, what's the thing that you see in him?
Well, the way he's doing the job, I want to do it that way. But it's impossible. But I know, but that's it.
Think of an adjective. If you were to describe Peter to somebody else, what would you say about him?
Loving intelligence.
And can I offer one word that came up before? Brilliance?
Brilliance, yes, also.
So my inkling would be to see, where are you at with your own brilliance? So what would be the sentence, since you know the process?
Yes. I'm okay. Maybe I'm not so okay.
Your brain just went blank. Okay, let me give you a sentence and you repeat after me. I am brilliant, loving intelligence.
Thank you, Nadja. I am brilliant, loving intelligence.
So now not go into your story about it, but just notice what you feel in the body.
Yes.
Describe that.
It's coming down.
What is coming down where?
It's coming down here, coming to the carpet. I'm sitting on the floor. I feel it.
Mm-hmm. So say it again. I'm allowing myself.
I'm allowing myself
to be
brilliant.
Yeah.
And loving intelligence.
Mm-hmm. And notice what happens with your breathing. Yeah.
Yes, it's still coming down. I will say it once again. I allow myself to be brilliant, loving intelligence.
Mm-hmm. How does it feel?
Yes, very, very intense and also very sweet, but very intense, but it's coming down.
Mm-hmm. Where do you feel the intensity?
Well, so all along here in the foresight.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we can turn up the heat a little bit and you go, I am brilliant, loving, intelligence. And that's true.
I am brilliant, loving intelligence, and that's true. It's not yet so easy, but it's still coming in.
How do you know it's not yet so easy?
Well, because I feel still a little bit shaky when I take the time to repeat those words or to speak those words out.
Okay, so focus on that movement that you notice in yourself. And remember what Peter always says, every change starts with a lie. Okay, say it again, repeat it.
I am brilliant and loving intelligence, and it's true. And it's a good lie. But that's more easy to say.
It's true.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Nadja.
Well, we're not quite done yet. I
We're
mean,
not done.
If you will find something else.
Peter Koenig, why don't you take him?
Well, I'm waiting for the, you know, it's obviously true with and without money.
Yes.
But let's just go first before we look at polarity. Let's go, I'm brilliant, loving and true with and without money.
I'm brilliant, loving and true with and without money.
Mm-hmm. Where is that? How are you doing now?
No, it's yes, it's coming stable.
Also with money?
Well, it's more difficult with money.
Yeah. So just go into that. Brilliant, loving and true with and without money. It's easy without money, or easier. Imagine you're going to, all the money you might get at Damien, and imagine double or triple the amount that you're imagining. And people will see you as brilliant and loving intelligence and with all this money.
Yes, this I know it can be true, but it's not so easy to take in.
Nadja, any thoughts?
Well, you know, my experience is sometimes it has to take root for a little bit.
Yes.
But there's something about that is worth repeating, especially the with money part. I am brilliant, loving, intelligence.
With money.
With money.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I skipped the without.
For the moment, you can skip it. I mean,
Yes.
that's easier.
I stay with only with money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Peter, do you want to look at the...
And we want to look at the polarity now. So what's the opposite of being brilliant, loving, and intelligent? For you. I'm a stupid idiot.
Yes. And unconscious.
Stupid and unconscious idiot. Does that describe it well?
Yes. I don't feel much, but yes.
Okay, well, let's try that on, see how that works. I'm a stupid and unconscious idiot.
I'm a stupid and unconscious idiot.
And I allow myself to be this.
And I allow myself to be this.
How does that go?
That's
Pretty easy.
Yes, that's quite easy in comparison with with the other one.
Yeah. Shows what a stupid and unconscious idiot you have been and still are.
Apparently, yes.
And also with and without money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try to be a unconscious, stupid idiot with money.
Also, but just leave the money aside for the moment. I'm a stupid and unconscious idiot, and it's okay.
I'm a stupid and unconscious idiot, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes,
What's happening now?
Yes, that's feel stable.
Yeah, very good. So I'm a stupid and unconscious idiot, and it's cool.
I'm a stupid and unconscious idiot, and it's cool.
Yeah. Just imagine, Peter, look, how great it is, because you can stop trying to be like me. Brilliant.
No.
Wouldn't it be great to stop trying to be like me? Brilliant, loving, and intelligent.
No,
And
but
just allow
because
yourself to be-
no, because I know you can also be a stupid unconscious idiot.
Okay, but only when I'm brilliant.
Okay,
I know you're
I
doing
think
it so well that
something to practice, right?
Yeah.
So that's the polarity to embrace for
Yeah.
you, to see how that fits. And you know, it's nearly that when you begin to talk a lot, to push pause, connect with these two energies in you and see what comes from that place, because that's maybe just where your brilliance then really can come out. Yeah.
yes.
Okay, thank you so much for.
Thank you very much, both of you.
Thank you.
I love working with you and with all the group also.
Thank you. Okay, everybody. So here's a little idea I have for closing, because I thought of some questions that I would like to send to everybody as sort of thinking homework in a way, and I'll put them in the email as well. So the questions that came up for me, what do I need? Right? So that's the first one. The second one is, where in my life could I use and even further the quality of interweaving? Where in my life could I take full responsibility? Where in my life am I taking responsibility that is not mine to take? And what makes me feel overwhelmed? And what can happen if I allow myself to feel this fully? And I'll put them in the chat. And I would love for those who have a minute to spare, maybe just write down a question that came up for you as you were participating, witnessing, being part of this, and put it in the chat. And I will take all the questions from the chat and also send them off with our recording. Yeah, because sometimes I think that's the place we're at globally right now. It actually is realistic and good to have more questions than answers. Peter, what's your question?
It's not a question. I just want to say, Nadja, you are brilliant, loving, and intelligent.
And I'm a complete idiot. And that's great.
I don't know when you come up with the time or the time to be able to formulate all those questions. I'm just in awe of your brilliance, really.
Well, thank you so much. That you know, it's really good for my big ego. So okay. Oh, thank you, Christina. Okay, so yeah, type some questions into the chat, and you can also, if nothing comes up, you can send me some later. But I think there really is a great gift in good questions. And as you're still contemplating, what do I need to start my calling of supporting the people around me? Ernst, thank you for that question. It's a good one. Anything else? How can I do less and be more? Who am I so idealizing that I can't be fully myself? And if I reclaim the qualities I idealize in them, I will have more freedom and more options. Yeah, absolutely, Nancy. Is my own genius also my source? Peter, do you want to say a few things about that?
I don't know. It sounds like it to me. Sounds like the two are very closely related.
Yeah, I think so too. Then we have, I'm a PhD student in London and want to do more academic research with the source principle and would love some pointers.
Tom Nixon's book.
Yeah, and Stefan.
With,
I'm gonna put in the recording and in the mailing for the recording, I'll put the link to Tom's book again, and I'll dig out Stefan's book.
Yeah, great.
And also for, actually, I want to advertise that very quickly. We have Timea on the call, and next week we have a masterclass with Timea, who did some research around source, amongst other things, and why, Timea, are you still there? If you are, please.
Yes, I am.
Yes. Do you want to say 2 sentences about the masterclass next week?
Yes, come and join us. My research was about founder succession, and I used the source principles as one of my lenses through which I did the interviews and looked through my findings. So come and join us. It's on Thursday.
Yes, it's on Thursday. And I will also send the link, the registration link for that. So to me, I'm really excited to run this session with you and very excited about learning more about your fund.
Almost finished, Isabel.
Thank you.
Almost finished.
Peter, Peter, look, you're still unmuted.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. Sorry.
No problem. Okay, so what other questions do we have? How can I find out what stands in my way, what I perceive to be standing in my way? How do I use my smallness to get the job done? And yes, I would appreciate to receive all the questions. Okay, wonderful. Okay, you guys, I would say we are well over the hour. So let's do a couple of checkouts, just one thing that you walk away with. And I'm going to call on a few people. Rainer, Ritter, what do you walk away with from today? It's good to see you. And you're still muted, so.
Sorry, yeah. What I go away with is, I think I was in the last month not very well connected to my inner source. So I go away with a bit more feeling for my own source and desires and what I really want to realize in my life without money or with money.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Jonas, what about you?
What do I go with? Many things that I let settle. I quite enjoyed sort of the exercise, the last longer one, and to see what it really means. And I also posted one question that's about all the unhealthy sources that at the moment that sort of drive me around. This morning I read in The Economist. So what example, or if Twitter now succeeds, the management books needs to be rewritten. And is this really something that in evolution sort of works at the moment, this kind of behavior, which doesn't seem to be a positive way of source with Elon Musk? And what does this mean of all these kind of activities we do and we want to spread, and what kind of trust it requires that this is really the way that will be sort of being successful. So yeah, on a personal and a global level, a lot of things to take with me and also to internalize. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Those are good questions. Did you put them in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, great, because then we will be able to use that for our next call. Okay, you guys, so I would say we'll do our little checkout ritual. Why don't you unmute yourself so that we can make a little bit of goodbye noise, and then find somebody in the tile next to you, reach out, touch some fingertips and say bye. Have a great evening.
Bye.
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 Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Take
Have a
care.
nice evening.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, John.